Okay, I'd like to call the committee meeting back to order. Sorry about the delay. Mr. Knox.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I'd be remiss if I didn't introduce some colleagues from the department. And in terms of order, we'll be gentlemanly, and Sherry Dillon, Office Supervisor, and Brent Glazier. I thought I got that backwards for a moment. Operations Supervisor. Super. Thank you, Mr. Warden. Yeah, looking at the county KPIs, the first one has to do with roads. And interestingly enough, it reflects a bit of a balance between roads that require construction and roads that require rehabilitation. So driving a percentage much higher would be at the detriment of the poorer county roads. So we've got a bit of a balance there. We use pavement condition indices in order to arrive at a rating, and we expect it to remain in that 60%. For bridges, we use a bridge condition indice. We evaluate half the bridges a year. And again, this is also another balance, a balance between aged structures, some of which are 100 years old, and the maintenance of our more current structures, the ones that are 50 and 60 years old. So again, the numbers are in around that 55 percentage. On costs on paved roads, we generate these numbers from our annual costs, and I expect those to be imminent, and I expect those to be in around that $650 per lane kilometer. And you will notice that the department is of the opinion that we need to do more on the operational and maintenance side, and you see that in the projections for 16, 17, and 18. For the cost of winter maintenance, at the time of the original 15 budget number, we had estimated about $2,500 per lane kilometer. I'm pleased to say that that will be substantially less. It will be substantially less.
Should we clap at this point? Or yeah.
Sorry, did you? Oh, never. No, okay. I think we'll press on. As the corporation looks where there's some balancing on the actual cost for 2015, and I think that's imminent or coming up shortly. Next on waste management, again, the county is responsible for aggregating the data from all the municipalities on the extent and capacity of all the landfill sites. And the actual value for 2014 is 30 years. And you notice that it has gone down gently. Our projection for 2015 had been somewhat less. Obviously, that's going to increase when we do the 2015 waste management plan, which we report in late in 2015. Our young lady doing the environmental work for the department, doing a stalwart job, has collected 133 ton of MHSW in 2015, so that is an actual. I'm going to press down. Paul and I are on track here, so this is not going to mislead him. I'm going to press down 2 pages to capital, because again, for our department, it would be remiss to move to operations first, as opposed to capital. Again, the department driven by capital, and so we'll do capital first. Certainly the first initiative was, again, looking at the paved roads 5-year plan. I was talking to the Treasury analyst that assists the department in putting the input values into citywide, and it will be imminent that we put in the 2015 PCI values in the system in order for us to make the evaluations of what should be on the 5-year plan for roads. Similarly for bridges, we mentioned that we do half of them each year. The analyst sitting, having eye contact now, is working with us, and we're going to be inputting those values and then establish the 5-year plan on that as well. Item number 3, considering the implications of in-house and construction contracts, in-house construction versus contracts. If I can offer, we need to evaluate the costs of in-house versus contracts. I think we will better evaluate our health and safety sensitivities Naturally, the department does not own a track machine. We hire dozers and backhoes and hi-hos, and that leads us to a more difficult system to manage for health and safety for in-house construction. So we have to have regard for that. I think Betty Ann alluded to risk. I'm interested to determine how we would assess risk on the manner of in-house. So there's a variety of things we have yet to evaluate, and naturally that'll have an impact on one of the things we'll talk about in operations. Environmental assessment for West Road. I'd like to thank each member of council for coming out to the public meetings held in August that attracted in excess of 200 people. Yes, it's gratifying to see council join and find out the sensitivities of the community. It was clear on the West Road the sensitivities were wind, power, and the implications the West Road may have on achieving wind power. That was the number one. On the 100 comments that we got, that was number one. Number two was the need for some work on the surface of the road, and well understood. Number three was the confusion of a 100-foot wide right-of-way. And number four was impact on the environment. Number five, road safety. So moving ahead with the environmental assessment, we need to address the concerns of the community that we clearly heard during those meetings. So that's the status, and we hope to move forward on the West Road initiative. Consolidation of county bridges on local roads. Bit of history, not all are aware that back in the 90s, the province had been responsible for 90% costs on county bridges, local roads. We had 28 bridges, and then in the 90s, they thought it was a cool idea to have that responsibility become a municipal, in our case, county responsibility. And that was devastating because they were 100-year-old trusses. And we're now moving towards the overcoming what to do with those very old structures. And I mentioned beforehand is the need to the balance between construction and maintenance. Once we overcome the county bridges, local roads, we can now actually do more work on the bridges on the county road system. So we will finally, the consolidation means seeing the completion of the construction of Big Irwin Bridge on the boundary between Elderslie and former Greenock, and on the McCurdy Bridge boundary between Brant Township and Elderslie Township, and then dealing with one or two other outlier bridges. So that's the consolidation of bridges. Let's now flip back, Paul, if we could, to the operational side. Some of these issues come from the operational review. First issue was reviewing, considering if we promote the affordable and accessible public transportation element. And we have yet to strategize on how to accomplish that. Number two was the review of the Highways Department organization structure. That naturally comes out of some of the things you saw under capital. Number three was a review of county trails and forestry programs, and I'm amazed at the work Chris has done with his people on some of these files, and it will take a bit of time to come up to just even understand the many positive things that are being done currently by his department. Number four is a review of the county role in local servicing. I alluded to what we do with solid waste management in the county, and there was a desire through the operational review to consider that in water, wastewater, and stormwater. And we've got sort of a strategic approach to that the committee had seen back in December, and I'm hopeful to find some assistance to help us actually move ahead on that file. Good. I believe we'll go down to projects. This might be our favorite sheet. Sand shed in Paisley. We've got a dome right now that's deteriorated. They were built in the 70s and they weren't heavily analyzed, so we're going to hopefully replace that dome. Glamis, we're hoping to finish that construction, Road 25. We're hoping to continue that environmental assessment in Port Elgin. 2 Road 40s, there's some spot improvements that we have to do before we do some rehabilitation work. Road 6 down in South Bruce, we hope to finalize that project that had been ongoing in 2014-15, complete the Big Irwin Bridge, and move forward on the McCurdy Bridge. I believe that's our report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Engineer. Any questions for the engineer? Everybody must be very happy, Brian. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, Christine, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So to start us off, again, just highlighting that the Social Services and Housing Plan for 2016 is in an integrated format. So we've now incorporated goals that span our entire department, as well as specific initiatives that relate to our different program areas. And so now we've revised the plan to fit the revised template, and input came from my key management staff, as well as supervisory staff and some other key information staff. And today we have Nancy Reinhardt and Tanya Dixon. Two of the managers are able to join us. So looking at the key performance indicators, I just want to highlight that we did add one new one this year regarding social assistance. The reason for that is that we wanted to look at some KPIs that were more meaningful, that really helped us understand what are the outcomes that we are achieving in the community. And so that KPI is the number of days to eligibility. And so staff have a keen interest on working on this so that we can return to service levels pre-SAMS. And work is well underway there. Additionally, in 2016, we have divided how we report the capital. So in 15, we had capital priorities delivered on time and on budget as one KPI, but we've separated those out so that we can highlight the different pieces that interact there. And additionally, in the new format, you'll see that we've now added key capital works. So not all of our capital works, but some key components, and I'll explain that more. The next page is a new page, which is just a summary of all of our major initiatives. So we have 18 that are listed. Goals 8 through 18 are the key capital works. And in our plan, you'll see that they're described as combined. Because our capital projects have the capital component as well as our staff labor, which is in the operational budget. And so we'll highlight that as we go through. Okay, so our 2016 initiatives, again, our first two goals are a departmental-wide focus that enhance integration within the department and also embrace our opportunities to work with other external services in the community. So as the CAO had mentioned earlier today, we're really ramping up looking at how we create hubs for us to leverage different funding streams, leverage our partnerships so that we're providing services in the community that better suit the needs of our residents to ensure that high quality of life that we're looking for. The other goal is really to continue down our path of integrating our services within the department. And so looking at a work plan in terms of how we can establish what might be some of our quick wins in that regard. We already have a an internal departmental group. It's a communication working group that is working on some integration efforts. So an example of that is a shared consent. So that would streamline how clients come in and tell us our story, because they're giving us permission up front to share that information where it's appropriate to do so. And so it just streamlines the service that we're providing. And so the staff are engaged in working in that, and there will be other integration efforts that we'll add as well. Then we move into the goals that are more specific to each of the divisions. And there's a lot of work in our department this year really in consolidating. So there's been a number of changes, and as the CAO had highlighted earlier today, we're in that place now where we're working on stabilizing some of those changes with regard to the Child Care and Early Years Act. And so there will be further regulatory changes that come out in phase 2 this year. And staff are working on a very comprehensive work plan that includes all the different pieces that we need to adjust in regards to that legislative change. Moving on to and actually we have added in as a goal, the implementation of the County Community Childcare Registry, because that will be a major step forward in terms of us providing that system approach for childcare and being able to identify what the needs are in our community. And so this project's already well underway. You'll see that we've showed there what the costs of the contract are, as well as our own internal staff time as we move that forward. Number 5 is with regard to the long-term housing plan. And in 2016, we're going to continue to work at achieving more results to that 10-year plan. And in particular, there's a focus on the supportive needs, the gap that currently exists in our community for supports for people living in affordable housing. And very shortly in March, we'll be releasing our call for an expression of interest so that we're able to distribute those investment in affordable housing dollars for new rental. And so the Housing Services Manager, Tanya, will be working on that to deliver to the community very shortly. In regards to Goal 6, again, Ontario Works is really working on those consolidation activities and looking at how can we take various business practices and improve them and take us to a place where we're actually providing a better service than we were previous to SAMS. In regards to the business case analysis, that's well underway. Staff are working with a consultant at REFACT to explore and gather the various information pieces that are required to complete that comprehensive business case analysis in understanding what regeneration approach that we take with our social housing stock within the county. Then we move into goals 8 through 18, which are our capital initiatives. I'll just show you in the estimated budget cost per year column where you see the contracted budget amount. That is what's in our capital budget. So for fire alarm emergency lighting upgrades, the $309,250 is the capital component. And then the staff time estimate on that particular capital project that's absorbed within our operating budget is the $24,740. And so each of them are outlined in that way so that you can see what the staff piece of the time is. And so I won't highlight each of those. They are there. Those are the ones that probably are of keen interest to the public because they're the bigger projects and they're more visible in the community. So they are there for you. I will mention that there's 30 capital projects that are being worked on altogether, as well as work that's being done in portfolio areas in capital as well too, that are retrofits or things that come up in year. And so, of course, Housing Facilities Manager will continue to report on that in our regular committee processes. But again, these are the ones that are probably of key interest. And I also want to highlight, so that you understand, in each of the projects, there's a sentence that explains what type of staff time classification has been used. So, for example, for boiler and heat upgrades, this is a regular unit entry. And so we have provided in the index, I went too far, sorry. In the index, it has the definition. Because the type of staff time involved in those different types of processes really varies. And so if we've categorized it as a regular unit entry versus a non-unit work, or whether it's planned work, so we're actually working with engineering or architectural to look at plans for a future year, the type of time investment that goes into that looks quite different for each of those. So that's how we've broken down the estimates of time for the capital work projects there. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Christine? Mike?
back to your goal number 5, the implementation of the 10-year plan, and you're about to go out for expressions of interest. Have you had a lot of inquiries on that money?
Yes. So our conversation with the community has been ongoing regarding the IAH funding portfolio, and also through our YIMBY table, so the Yes in My Backyard team, as well as the work that we're doing in the community with the Poverty Task Force, the Housing Subcommittee too. So, and we've also had other just general inquiries as well too. So there.
So from, I guess my question is developers, there's interest from developers in participating for sure.
Definitely. So there's interest from some private folks that we've heard from, as well there's interest from some of the nonprofit realm. And what we've really been talking about in our consultations with the community is the importance of the partnering piece, because we need to see the need for the support services being met. So if it's a private developer that's looking at the bricks and mortar, that's fine, but we need to look at then what's the partnership to include a supportive piece for the people that need that.
Thank you.
Paul?
Thank you, Mitchell. There's some very interesting numbers there on your key performance indicators. I'd like to try to understand the cost of a subsidized childcare space you have listed at $4,800. That's unbelievable. But is that just what the county has to pick up, or is that the total cost? Could you explain that $4,800 a little clearer for me?
So there is a complicated formula behind it. The cost of the subsidized childcare space is a weighted calculation. And what I've got up on the screen now from the index is it just explains that it's based on the age of the child, and it's then converted into the number of normalized subsidy spaces. So how many places we're then able to spend money on. So you can see that the weight given to an infant is 4.5 compared to a school-age child that's 1. And then the gross fee subsidy is the parent fees divided by the normalized number of subsidized spaces. And so that helps us determine where we're at overall. And the reason why you're seeing the changes over time in our KPI is because of the change with the move to full-day kindergarten, because more of our centers are moving into some infant care because they're not doing the school-aged care. And so then that changes the actual costing. We're going to see perhaps some more changes in this regard with the second phase of the regulatory changes. They are looking at changing the ratios. So it could mean that we have some new categories in terms of currently it's 1 to 3 for an infant ratio. And they are proposing that we may go to a new category, which is 12 months to 2 years, which would be a ratio of 1 to 4. So when we start to play in the system in that way, it changes how many kids we can subsidize because the cost is higher for certain ratios. Does that help?
Yeah, I understand it clearly.
Yeah, same here.
I could have, I could offer to bring back a more detailed report from Brenda and her staff that would outline how we arrive at that. It is very complicated.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Good, thank you. Charlie.
We are next.
We are next. Bruce Lee.
I can't seem to. Oh yes, here we go.
Yeah, just keep going down.
Am I going up or down?
No, I think you're going. There you are. No, hold it. Corporate services. Yeah, you're going the wrong way.
I always have a problem when I sit in this seat. Did you notice that?
No, you're getting there. What page is it?
Oh, there we go.
50.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, everyone. I would like to just first of all say that
long-term care,
Mike.
Gateway Haven, where...
Mike.
Turn on my mic. I would like to say, first of all, that Gateway Haven and Bruce Lee Haven, long-term care, we are in the early stages of a transition in the area of collectively reporting on both of these homes. So for today, I will report on them separately. But going forward, what we're looking at is having a one report for long-term care, and even in the area of the business plans. The cumbersome part of it is the actual reporting on the key indicators when it comes to the public reporting indicators. But moving forward, we're getting there. On that note, I'd like to start with Bruce Lee Haven. And the indicators that you have presented before you, these represent the 7 county inclusive indicators, and Bruce Lee Haven is well within these indicators in 2015 and on into 2016. On the next, there's the public reporting indicators, and there's 11 of those. Without going through each one of them, I just want to say that going forward in our business plan, these constitute 11 publicly reported indicators, and in 2015, Bruce Lee Haven is within 3 out of the 11 benchmarks, and in 2016 we will be aggressively bringing into line, hopefully, and surpassing the benchmark of the other remaining 8. Oops. In regard to our major initiatives for Bruce Lee Haven in 2016, for both homes, the indicators, the initiatives, for the most part, are identical. So what I will do is I will, in this report, make a little bit more of a detail in the major initiatives and report on Gateway separately. But for Bruce Lee Haven, we have 6 major initiatives, and 3 are operational and 2 are capital for 2016. So I will go right into the major initiatives, beginning with number 1 in regard to aligning both homes. We have been very aggressive in 2015 and in the early months of 2016 with good success in aligning both of the long-term care homes in regard to its policies and management and procedures, and I just see this to be well in hand, and by the end of this year, hopefully, we will attain great things in that one major initiative. In regard to our second major initiative for 2016, EMS and long-term care homes commencing its research into the opportunities and efficiencies that could result by combining the resources, that is in progress and still remains an initiative for 2016 for both homes. Number 3 major initiative is also a combined initiative in enhancing our public relations in the community and long-term care in the community through education of services offered at Bruce Lee Haven and Gateway Haven, and that is in our 2016 initiatives and business plan for sure. The number 4 major initiative for Bruce Lee Haven, and it is also for Gateway Haven, and that's the replacement of communication systems at Bruce Lee Haven, replacing the nurse call bell system and including a resident roam alert system. This is an integrated project, as I've said, and Betty Ann alluded to that quite well in her presentation this morning. Gateway Haven is actually the one that's taking the lead, I guess, in its replacement, and Bruce Lee Haven will be following suit, and they certainly will be affected by that. And the projection is that we would have in both homes the nurse call bell system and telephone systems replaced with a much more efficient system. I didn't even hear an amen to that one, but I would really be very, very happy to go and have that one completed. The next three initiatives are capital initiatives, and at Bruce Lee Haven, and that is, there's a major, this is really a major initiative for us at Bruce Lee Haven this year, in the replacement of lifts and tubs that are quite past their lifespan. And in 2016, both homes are certainly looking to replacing in the next 5 years all of their major medical equipment. The capital initiative for Bruce Lee Haven under BAS, the Building Automated Systems, again, I think that was alluded to and covered under corporate services. Bruce Lee Haven and Gateway Haven have been included in the corporate energy audit. I would just like to mention, and I'm just sharing according to my understanding, that the budget cost for this major capital initiative, this $175,000 was initially assigned and budgeted for in a building automated system for Bruce Lee Haven in 2016. So it came into effect and consideration in 2015, but projected for in 2016. In 2015, the county initiated and included Bruce Lee Haven and Gateway Haven in the Energy Audit Conservation Program, I think it was called, which now includes the building automation system previously projected in the Bruce Lee Haven capital, which is that what represents that 175. Why I'm highlighting it today is that I'm at this point a little unsure if that would continue to be a figure that's included in the 2016 capital budget, which has been approved or not, but I think that remains to be seen, because I think that the BAS project, the cost of that is covered, is it not?
LAS?
I could just speak to that if you'd like, Mr. Warden.
Yeah, please.
So the capital forecast for Bruce Lee Haven had recognized that there were going to be some upgrades necessary. That was being funded from the building reserve.
Oh.
So it wasn't levy funds that were being raised. It was being from what I thought, but it was not brought forward, I don't believe, but we have yet to determine the financing. We are just undergoing, as the information report that had gone to corporate services recently regarding the awarding of that RFP, and as we move forward with the energy audit, and that's the first step.
Okay, and so that explains.
But it was recognizing that a number of our facilities need upgrades, and we did not have capital available, so this was an alternative to be able to fund the upgrades from potential savings.
Okay, well, that would remain. And that is actually it for the Bruce Lee Haven.
Good. Thank you, Charlie. Any questions for Charlie and Bruce Lee? Okay, moving forward to Gateway.
Gateway Haven. As I have said, the indicators remain the same and are identical for both homes. At Gateway Haven, of the 7 county inclusive indicators, Gateway Haven is well within the benchmark coming into 2016, and I don't perceive to be any problem with those indicators or reaching those benchmarks in 2016. In 2016, for the 11 indicators that are publicly reported upon, Gateway Haven in 2015 entering into 2016, they are well within 7 of the 11, which is quite commendable, actually. The other 4 we are aggressively attending to, and I believe that for both facilities we will well be within the benchmark by the end of the year, or that's really our goal. Gateway Haven, the initiatives are from 1 to 3 are the identical as was presented for Bruce Lee Haven. And I would just like to again go to the major initiative for 2016, number 4, and that being the replacement of the communication systems. That is well underway, as we were just indicating. And number 5, the major initiative under the operational component of Gateway Haven. This is a bit of a dream for us at Gateway Haven, and we really want to sink our teeth into it in 2016, and that being the commencement to develop the back property at Gateway Haven. We want to start in 2016 to look at and have discussions with service groups and the public, also past resident family members, to develop in the building of a permanent structure to host social events and resident activities in the back property. And this would involve a covered structure that would include utilities and accessible to the residents of from the back floor. You remember we had those wonderful ramps installed at Gateway Haven from the 2nd floor to the back property, and this will just bring the properties together, if you will, and we'll be able to use the back property much more often at Gateway Haven. And we see the enhancement of that property by having a permanent structure there, covered structure, that would include utilities where the residents and the community can join in activities. And we want to, in 2016, to approach various groups to investigate the possibility of building such a structure and financing such a structure to be built. That's the major initiative for Gateway Haven in 2016. 2016 major initiatives when it comes to the capital. They're into a major flooring replacement in the kitchen area, and the major equipment replacement, which I just alluded to with Bruce Lee Haven as well, and the building automated system, as I already alluded to with Bruce Lee Haven. And that's it for Gateway Haven.
Thank you, Charlie. Questions? Milt?
This is back on Bruce Lee. Just refresh my memory on that initiative with regards to assisted living.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Did I skip over that? Didn't mean to. Here we go. Thank you. This is a 2017 project initiative, and Bruce Lee Haven has, in the past, been very interested in utilizing and discussing with the county assisted living complex, building an assisted living complex.
Sorry, I just can't hear you, what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bruce Lee Haven has been very interested in the past of enhancing the property to accommodate an assisted living complex, and apart from suggesting it, there has really been no further discussions on it. But in 2016, we would want to engage the committee and the council about the possibility of moving forward in providing assisted living to seniors. But we're no further ahead than I think this idea, or certainly this suggestion, was presented, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2014.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just forgotten about it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I actually moved right over it. I didn't mean to.
Thank you, Charlie.
Other comments? Paul?
Just thinking there, Mitchell, that the daycare thing at $6,000 for subsidy for a child at daycare, and you know they only got the little bugger 7 hours a day. It's a lot better deal going to the nursing home here at $250 a day, and you've got them 24 hours a day, 7, Charlie. So you're running a much better operation than the daycare. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think, Christine, you have to sit down with him and explain things. Yes.
Okay. But of course, in both homes, we do look at childcare, early years, and preschool, so we're good.
Okay, any other comments or questions of Charlie? Hearing none, oh, sorry, Ann.
I was just reading in the paper about where the childcare sometimes is in the homes.
Yes.
And have we ever given any consideration to that, you know, for a long-term plan? It seems, I've visited one, it seemed to be working out really well.
At Gateway Haven, they have the preschool operating, of course, during the school term, if you will, and there's a number of programs in place where the administration works with and the activation works with the preschool teachers and the kids. There are some already integrated programs, which is really great for the seniors. At Bruce Lee Haven, they have the early years, and there's not that existing programs as such, but certainly the possibilities will be there, because it's great for seniors and great for the kids as well.
Thanks, I wasn't aware of the extent of it at Gateway.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I think we'll break for lunch, then reconvene after lunch.